Hey, it's been a long time, but we're back. Yeah, we're back. How you doing? All right. On our plate for this week, in a weird kind of thing, as this being the last episode of the year for us, we were saying goodbye to 2023 and hello to 2024. So on that plate, close. We reminisce about our favorite games and what we are excited for 2024. After that, we have a rumor roundup of some of the biggest games that we could possibly see in 2024. We'll get to that. All that and more on season 7, episode 50, the last episode of Press X Gamers Digest for 2023. Oh, kind of got to get used to this. It's been a while, all right?
Mm-hmm.
What's up, everyone? I am your host, EJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka I still didn't finish the games that I was supposed to finish over this holiday break. I just
Tragic.
I'm still in shambles. It's just so much stuff to play. Oh my gosh. I am joined by
Sean M.F. Ross,
what does the M and F stand for?
The Last of Us, Jamaican edition.
Jamaican edition.
It's just the two of us, baby.
Hey, we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. All right. Now you know who we are. Press X Gamers Digest is a video podcast that condenses the most important gaming news from this past week into an hour-long meal just for you. We are live on YouTube every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to change for the new year, so get ready for that change. Hi. You good? Good. Don't forget, you can subscribe to our channel. You can like the video and hit that notification bell when you hit the subscribe button. That part, pretty important because it lets you know when we are doing these videos like this one right now. So you get to see that. So you get to jump on and be in a live chat. And you want to do that because it's cool. And you want to be cool. So be cool. If you are listening, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the podcast services you are currently tuned in on. And if you want, you can join our conversations by joining our Discord at pressxnumber2start.com/Discord. So do that. Do all those things because those things will make us merry. Merry? Merry, right? No one ever says merry anymore.
You say it.
When's the last time someone said merry to you?
You just now.
You got me there. All right. All right. With that being said, let's jump into this. So, normally what we do is talk about the gaming news from this past week. And since, we had our holiday break, that means there's 2 weeks of gaming news. And no one likes to talk about the past because bringing up the past is painful, especially with the giant leak that happened in Insomniac. Terrible. So what we're going to do is talk about, I guess, the past with our top games of 2023. And then we're going to talk about what we are looking forward to in 2024. And then, if we got the time, we're going to talk about some rumors that we've heard about video games that could be coming in 2024. All right. So, Sean, I have done a lot of talking, so I will hand it over to you. What is one of the games that you really enjoyed in 2023?
I'll start
You
off
can
with
make
one of the
this,
earlier
you can do your
ones.
order, or
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm gonna just kind of coincide with yours, kind of letting them two that match up, whatever. But
gotcha.
Dead Space remake, I got that for free from who the hell made that game? EA. I got that free from EA.
Yeah, it was EA.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it. I wish I would have purchased that over goddamn I don't even remember the name of the game now.
The other Dead Space like game.
Don't even
Wait,
matter now.
wait, why don't I remember it either?
Oh, the Callisto Protocol.
There you
God
go.
damn
There
it.
you go.
The preview when they first showed that game looked so awesome, and I think they just marketed it wrong
Callisto
because it
Protocol.
was really you were
Yeah,
really throwing hands in the game more so than shooting. And if they would have just
yeah,
made that clear, I think people would have had different expectations of the game. It
Yeah,
was an
I agree.
aggressively fine game. um, but no, Dead Space remake. That shit was awesome because I never played the original. I only played 2 and 3 back in the
Hmm.
day. I played the demo for the original Dead Space and saw one of those necromorphs and immediately was like, yeah, I'm never playing this type of shit again. Little did I know, I love playing those type of things now. So
See,
yeah, that was
hey,
a
hey,
solid remake.
like we both had the same trajectory when we first saw Dead Space, and I was like, I'm gonna take the exit ramp, and you were like, I'm gonna hold on to this. Maybe in my future I'll get back to it. Me, nope. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Cool though. Okay, so one of my games, it's I have a star for one of my games because
Mhm.
uh, you know what? I'm not gonna include it. I'm gonna jump to something else. Modern Warfare 3. So this is a recent game, as you all know. That got completely lambasted. I think that's the word. I
I'll
think that's the
take
right
it.
word. Yeah. For its story mode because it was short or whatever. But that aside, the multiplayer portion of it, the zombies portion of Modern Warfare 3 has been, for me, a fantastic experience. In terms of the zombie mode, it's kind of what I've always wanted from a zombie game where you can just jump into an open world. There's other people around that you can join and essentially just have these really quality experiences with, figuring out how to get out of something, figuring out how to beat this giant freak monster thing that you've kind of ran into and you don't really have the bullets or the firepower to put it down. And then you see somebody like run up with a sentry turn or something they throw down and just help out and just like that was awesome.
Why didn't I
And
think
I
of that?
feel
Yeah,
like right, yeah, right. And I feel like I think that could have been, experienced with the DMZ mode that they had last year, but I think the PvP mixed with Call of Duty just being what Call of Duty is, like that just kind of made a more toxic environment where I think
yeah,
zombies not being PvP and just being strictly PvE, that allowed for, I mean, that not allowed, that stopped people from being toxic and having to help other people. So, yeah. And then multiplayer, I really enjoy the changes they've made from Modern Warfare 2 to 3.
yeah.
There's been a lot of hubbub online about, oh, is this thing too strong, or like is the extra health on people too much? Like headshot multipliers, is it? There's a bunch of just like, like just BS stuff that's happening. It's just like, no, the game is still fine. Just play the game. It's
It's Call
okay.
of
It's
Duty.
Call of Duty,
Yeah.
guys. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, so that's my game. What about you, Sean?
Um, I did enjoy zombies, but that's not on my list.
Hmm.
I would say my second game was Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores expansion
Hmm.
because that came out in April of this year, and
Yep.
I went through that. You want to call it phenomena of not playing a game for a year and then jumping back in. It's like what do I do with my hands? Like I don't know what to do. Damn, I'm getting my ass whooped by these dinosaurs. But I eventually got back on the horse and damn. I'm gonna say this a few times today, but they know how to spin a good yarn. The
Hmm.
story in that was great. I can't wait to see uh, where they go with Horizon 3 and then whatever they do with that DLC.
Yeah.
Um, hopefully, but not hopefully, it's a trilogy. I'd love to just live in this world, but I know the story has to come to a conclusion at some point in time. But the action and just ingenuity of things you can do in that game is amazing. And
Hmm.
god damn, when did the first one come out? 2017. The next one came out. Shit, we're not getting another one until
Yeah.
2027, huh? That
Yeah.
sucks.
Well, there's
2026.
rumors about the next possible Horizon,
I
but
don't
we'll
want
get to
this
that
shit. I
later
don't want
on.
this shit. I don't
I
want
know,
this.
yeah, right?
But go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So mine is a we're gonna say, okay, this is gonna be a two shot. Um Spider-Man 2 we talked about that. That game is awesome. That story is just so great. I think they did a
Yeah.
lot of cool things. For me, like one of the biggest late game moments was the I'm gonna coin the Venom world. Like I think that was that. I mean, like a lot of people talk about how like oh the you could tell the power of the PS5 by how quick the fast travel stuff is, and I'm just like yeah, no, fast travel is amazing at that game, but like that Venom world moment, I think is also another like centerpiece of like Insomniac just doing wonders on the PS5 and just making literally the whole map that you've been swinging around with just venomized, and it's just like this
Oh
is
yeah.
really insane. Yeah, and it's
They
just
were
like,
actual solid structures that you could touch and jump on.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's
just
just like, yeah, it's like, holy crap, like this is crazy. And like just I think there was a lot of interesting choices made in that game to, you know, break away from the traditional quote unquote Venom story. Like there's no Eddie Brock. And like they use the characters they have to make that Venom story work. And I think they did a good job. And like they also have I guess spoilers for those who don't know, like Carnage is going to be in the game, and then other characters that I won't spoil. Um,
um before you get to the
mhm,
other half of that, then I mean,
mhm.
Spider-Man 2 is on my list. So I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everything DJ said plus more. Once again, damn it, we're not gonna see another Spider-Man thing until
I know.
3, 4 years from now. Ah,
Yeah, yeah,
but
man.
continue, DJ.
Yeah, like that game was just so good and so good to play. Like it it sucks that we have the Insomniac leaks because you can't even speculate like, oh, maybe they might do a um like a DLC kind of thing where they introduce like a roguelike element or anything because like
Yeah.
we know what is going to be next for them. But yeah,
Uh,
like that
but
game.
I wouldn't expect them to do that. I don't expect Sony to just tack that on to every damn first party property to extend the life
True.
of it. Like, how the hell would that even work? I don't know. Maybe Mysterio, but Mysterio's a good guy now. Spoilers. So I mean,
Yeah. I I totally agree with you, but I think after we saw them talk about the Last of Us, I guess roguelike or
yeah,
horde
no
mode or
effect.
whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it, and then the next game, God of War Valhalla or Ragnarok Valhalla, like happened. It's just like they're definitely like putting
Trying.
ideas on paper,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just like okay, cool.
I mean,
Uh,
in God of War, it makes sense story wise. It
It
makes sense.
does, and I think they did a good job of making it make sense. And I'll just jump to the next game, which is the second part of the two part, God of War Ragnarok Valhalla, which literally came out like a week or so ago, and it was hidden. No one knew about it. It dropped as free content for everyone who downloaded the game, and I will go ahead and say that the ending of that mode for me is probably the like top story experience I've had this year. And this year has been absolutely phenomenal with video games. And I think what they managed to do with Kratos, and I don't want to spoil it because it is very, very like the game just came out. But like what they did with Kratos for that character, I think works for what they have built up with Ragnarok and just the trajectory of Kratos in general. And it's just like, this is cool. This is so cool. Like his whole thing is so cool. And like, yeah, yeah.
Um, so tagging on to what DJ saying about Valhalla, I also played it shortly after he did. I finished it. It is an amazing experience. It fits the story very well, and I just hate that not everybody, but people are trying to make it seem like they're pandering with Kratos now to make him have feelings, have growth, be soft. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's like
Yeah.
people do get old. Eventually, their demeanors do change. They do
Yeah.
mature. They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Kratos can't be just until his dying days. Like it doesn't work like that, man.
Exactly. And I also feel like those people who are, at the forefront of that kind of idea probably just didn't play God of War 18 because they would have seen something like this coming just from the start of that game where Kratos is just like, nah, I need to calm down because like I don't want to be that person anymore. It's just like, yeah, this
Forever, yeah.
man has evolved. Like he has a family, and it's just like that changed him, that changes people. And it's just
He
like
wasn't born like this. He was on a quest for revenge in the original trilogy, and
exactly. And I think a lot of people forget why Kratos became Kratos. And it's just like,
yeah,
yeah, and
you know what? They weren't paying attention to the story. They were just button mashing in the original.
exactly. Yeah. And like this roguelike DLC, I'm lagging a little bit.
Yeah, you go ahead. You're good. You're
Okay.
good.
Yeah, this roguelike DLC like reminds you of like why he did the things he did, and it's just
Because he
play it.
could sometimes. Because he
Right?
could. In one of the stories,
Right?
fuck it, because I could. What was he gonna do? That was some of his reasons sometimes. Fucking
That
felt like
you're
it.
not wrong though. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, Valhalla's on your list too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, and then I will. So I'll do another two
Yeah, go
to
ahead. Go
even
ahead.
it out. Yeah. So I have a star next to WildHearts. That was a game that came out earlier this year. As a person who enjoy Monster Hunter but wanted something that was a bit different, I got everything I wanted from WildHearts. I haven't
Still
touched
need
it
to play
since
that. I
like
haven't touched it yet.
yeah, it's a good time. I don't know what the experience is like now because I don't know what the online component of that game is, and you kind of need the online component of that game to really have to enjoy it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll drag you and Cameron in. It's fine.
and that works. That works. I'll be down to download it. So yeah, and then the other one I want to bring up is uh Tears of the Kingdom. I talked about that a lot throughout the year. That was my game of the year until Baldur's Gate 3 descended upon my life.
Oh
I
God.
think it was oof. I think looking back now with I guess some hindsight, I think Tears of the Kingdom is great. I think the strongest point of that game is the ability to build and solve puzzles any way you want to. And I think that is still a very, very strong part of that game. Nothing in this year has topped that kind of experience. Um, yeah, I think I also don't want to talk about the story all too much. I think the story is handled very well for that being a open world 400-hour experience.
Yeah.
If you want to do everything, if you just want to just mainline it, it's definitely a lot quicker. But yeah, I think they do a good job with managing the story with the actual content in the game. I think the story beats themselves were spectacular. I think as a person who doesn't really focus on music, the music in that game is amazing when it really kicks off. Like
Hmm.
the last battle battle the last thing you're doing in that game is just one of my favorite moments of 2023 as well. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah, okay, then you can do your last one, and I'll do my last one as another two part.
So this may be recency bias.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think what other. I don't know. So I recently got Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, and I have not been able to put it down. I get the feeling with every Yakuza game that I play where I start it and I want to max out everything and platinum the game, but the game requires so much of you to do so, but it is still an amazing story. I would like to recommend Yakuza to everybody, but the first 6 games are all in Japanese. It's all subtitles, so it's hard to really
Yeah,
recommend it to everybody, and it's damn near what they used to complain about with Hideo Kojima, where there's a lot of story and cutscenes in the game, but the story is a damn Japanese telenovela. Like I don't know, it's awesome, but it has sucked me in, and I just can't wait to finish this game.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll be there when next year when we're playing Infinite Wealth.
Mm.
I need to beat Like a Dragon first, but I'll get there. I'll get there. So yeah, so my last two part is Armor Core 6, another game that I have spoke uh so many words about. That for me, that still remains my like top action game of 2023, my top action game for a couple of years actually, now I think about it. But yeah, that game, it is literally everything I wanted in a mech game. That game was, I basically played Gundam Battle
Mm.
Operations 2 as a holdover for whenever Armor Core is going to come out. And I've been playing Gundam for the last like 4 years or something. So to finally get Armor Core is just like, oh my gosh, it finally happened. Do I look d- do I look a little different at Gundam? Yeah, I do, but
Oh
I deal
wow.
with it. Yeah, yeah. It's, sometimes I have my days where I'm just like, man, fuck this game.
Okay, DJ, you don't have to do the dailies anymore.
But I do, Sean. I do. I've
You've
invested
broken
so much time.
you've broken those shackles. Don't give in to sunk cost fallacy, DJ. It's okay.
Oh my gosh, it's a battle that I deal with every day as I'm playing dailies, as I'm doing my dailies in Gundam. Uh, Yeah, Gundam. And the last one is, of course, Baldur's Gate 3. That has literally just been the showstopper of the year for me, for lack of better words. That was a game that, I've said it time and time again. Uh, Turn-based RPGs, not my thing. I don't enjoy them. I think it's kind of dumb to sit there and get hit. And you can't move around and take and dodge or whatever. But
How do
that
you think
game
the enemy
changed.
feels?
Right?
Stupid, I gotta wait out there.
Wait, your whole team gets to go before I get to attack you back. Wait a minute.
They die. This is bullshit. I didn't even get a chance.
Right? I had a really cool move too. Oh man. So yeah, like this the I think Baldur's Gate 3 was what changed my mind about turn based, because it allowed you to play the game you want, much like Zelda,
Hmm.
but I'll say in a much deeper way, in that you can you can play with the systems of the game where you can be in a conversation with a person that you plan on killing or you have to fight or whatever. And while you're in that conversation, you can switch over to one of your party mates and interact with the world that your main character is having conversations. So there was one time where I was talking to a person and it was just like, all right, I know I'm going to fight this person. So as I was talking to him, I had my party mate take barrels that they had stored and they were fire barrels. So put the barrels around the person. Went back to my main went back to my main character, finished the conversation, fight broke out. I did a little firebolt. I just exploded everything. Quickest fight. Quickest fight. Person, they had no idea what happened to them. They were dead. It was like that. And it's just like, if you can think of a way to get around a situation, more than likely there is either a
You gonna
spell
do
or a thing you can do to like make that thing happen. Like one of the first videos I saw on Baldur's Gate 3, it made absolutely no sense to me other than like, that was crazy. This person, they basically just collected a bunch of crates from the world. And when they got to this one part, there was a city they tried to get into. They couldn't get in because they needed like some kind of license or whatever. They just had like 60 crates and they just stacked a crate on top of each other, on top of each other until they got like super high above the gate. And then they climbed the crates all the way up to the top and just teleported over the city like walls to get into the city. And it's just like, all that is completely legal. Like that's the thing you can do in the game. You're not breaking the game. You're just playing the game. You're just using your ideas to
Yeah.
essentially get around a problem. And it's just like that game is just magnificent. Yeah. Um so yeah, so that's it for our top games of 2023. Now let us jump forward into what we are excited for 2024. And again, I have been doing a lot of talking. So Sean,
Yo.
what's one game that you are excited for 2024?
So I'm gonna do this list in reverse.
Oh.
I really struggle to find games that have me excited for 2024. This is crazy.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
I
Jordan
think
has
this year
said
is going to be an interesting year in terms
we're, we're
of
we're gonna see where the announcements come. Jordan had been saying that Sony can't keep up this AAA tentpole for long, and I mean, I guess we haven't had any major announcements yet for 2024. So I'm
yeah.
gonna start off with Zenless Zone Zero. It's interesting to me. I think it's
Hmm.
live or real time, right? It's not turn based.
It's not turn based. It's
Okay.
hack and slash for lack of better words.
Okay. So I mean, whenever that comes out, I'm not super excited for it, but it has my interest peaked. I'm curious to
Yeah.
play that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um. Yeah. I'm not on the fence with Zenless Zone Zero. I am cautious about that because I got to get that in my hands first to be like, okay, this is I'm here for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
For me, I am going to throw up Rise of the Ronin, which I think out of all the games I've listed, in a way, I am the least excited for this game, but
Yeah.
I am still excited for this game. And the only reason why it's the quote unquote least excited is because I just don't know a
Much
lot
about
about
it.
this game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
the
on my
last
list
trailer we
too.
saw, yeah, the last trailer we saw on the Game Awards looked really cool. Like
Mhm.
they I forget that official name of the period in Japan you're in, but like there's
It's
samurai
not the
swords, there's
Edo.
also
Thought you loved
guns.
the Edo.
I think yeah, Edo. I think it's like the end of the Edo period because I think that's when they got guns and swords mixing. So
Mm.
like that is really cool. The story they showed looks really interesting. There's not too much. It's one of those things where I'm excited to play the game, but I'll be more excited once I've played like a demo or something to be like, okay, this is how this game feels. Because in my mind, I'm
Well,
like,
if you got PlayStation Premium, you know.
oh, is there game trials for it?
I mean, the game ain't out yet, but I don't doubt that it may have a game trial.
I don't want to spend all that money for it.
Come on.
PlayStation. You need to come on, man. Throw us a
Come
bone. Okay. Yeah, that's all I got about Rise of Ronin.
It's on my list too, but like you said, we don't know enough about it. I just hope that it's not a. I know people are tired of this term, but a Souls-like game.
Hmm.
I enjoy trying those games, but I mean, I've never finished one, so
Yeah,
I'd hate to feel
yeah.
like I'm
I
wasting
I
my money
also
by
hope it's
buying a
not.
game.
I hope it's not Souls based too. Like I don't want that experience for that game. Like I want it to be more like Ghost of Tsushima than Souls like. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
yeah. Next game. Oh, I guess me next. That was on my list, so I will say Hades 2. Um,
Mm,
I'm curious to see where they go with this. I had fun with the first one. It kind of had me sucked in for a while. I don't think we have a hard release date on this though, so we'll see when
no.
this comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Hades is
I
Hades.
like.
I mean, there's not much I can say about that. It's a roguelike. Yeah, I think you're playing as Zagreus's sister that he didn't know about or
Mhm,
they didn't mention in the first game. But I mean,
mhm.
once again, we'll see when it comes out. I'm sure it'll get decent reviews.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I Hades is a game that I enjoy the art style. I think is super cool.
Hmm.
When I played it, I enjoyed it, but I played a game called like Wizards something on the
Wizards of
Switch that
Waverly
is
Place.
If only, right? But it was like a roguelike wizard game where it basically was much like what Hades is,
Yeah.
but I just couldn't get that out of my brain. I was just like, man, I could be playing that wizard game versus Hades, and it's a thing that like I was never able to break the two apart, so I ended up just putting Hades down and I just haven't gone back to it, but I
Yeah.
enjoyed my time with it. Um, for me, okay, I will go with Tekken 8. Um, hey, what's up? My name is EJ, aka I grew up on fighting games, and Tekken was my mainstay. Um, I played I went back to the Tekken 8 demo over the break, and instead of doing the like arcade mode and just like doing normal fighting or whatever, I did the story mode because apparently you could just do the first chapter with story mode. I had no idea. The first chapter is just one fight with Jin and Kazuya, and that fight was so hype. Like I I feel like if Tekken 8 came out this year,
Hmm. It'd have been overshadowed, no doubt.
I don't I don't think so. Like
No,
I
DJ,
was
let's be
as
realistic.
no, I am being realistic because like looking at the numbers, Tekken does sell better than Street Fighter. It just doesn't sell better than Mortal Kombat. But like
Interesting.
because
I mean, but then again, when's the
yeah,
last fucking time Street Fighter came out, DJ? Street Fighter 5 came out when? Damn
a
near the
while
beginning of the
ago,
PS4.
a while ago. But what I'm saying is that like in the past, when you look at the numbers, generally Tekken sells better than Street Fighter.
That's
But
wild.
like yeah, no, I think the issue is that Street Fighter is a more approachable fighter than Tekken is because Street Fighter is a 2D fighter, Tekken's a 3D fighter, and there's
Hmm.
like each person has so many moves that you can like learn and have to memorize and so on and so forth. But like I was so impressed with the cutscenes, the things that are happening in the one fight for the story mode. That was just
Yeah.
like they've never done anything like this. Like it feels a lot closer to what Mortal Kombat's doing with their story in terms of like interjecting like cutscenes and stuff mid fight. Like I was fighting Kazuya. I like beat him the one time. Some story stuff happens, and then he attacks me, and then I had an opportunity to either like dodge or punish the hit, and I punished the hit, and like it sent Kazuya into a wall, and it started another like round of the fight, and it was just like everything was so seamless. It's just like this is insane, and like the hope is that kind of interactivity with the fight and like the things that happen around the fight is a thing that is extrapolated for the entire story and not just like okay well this is how the game starts and then it's just like normal fighting and like that would suck like that would be like oh this is just it's not what I expected guys why are you doing this but yeah Tekken 8 I was surprisingly impressed with how they handled the story mode so I am looking forward to see how that turns out yeah so it's another one game for you
I was just looking at the sales just to see what the hell you were talking
oh
about. But I mean, Street Fighter 5 sold 7.2 million. Tekken 7 was the highest selling game of the franchise, selling 9 million copies. So he's kind of
oh okay
right.
yeah
But whatever. Let me see. Where the hell? Oh, I was just looking at our fantasy league too, which is crazy by the way, because I have negative points due to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I did not realize the game did that bad, Metacritic wise. That is fucking bonkers to me.
uh
Um,
yeah
Final
I
Fantasy.
have some feelings on that but
We'll
it's
talk about that off camera or on the
yeah
Discord if you join
yeah
us. Um,
yes
Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Um, I don't love Final Fantasy, but I do enjoy it. I don't have that same nostalgic feeling with Final Fantasy 7 from the original PS1 days. So if y'all been listening, I bought a PlayStation to play it. Never fucking got the game. The remake was
Mm-hmm.
cool. Finally got to experience the story. Granted, it's not a one for one. I had fun with 7 remake. We'll see where it goes with Rebirth. Um, it may be crazy to some people that are more excited for the other game on my list, but Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy. I don't think they're doing new things with Final Fantasy, unfortunately. So we'll see with Final Fantasy 17 if they're even gonna go that far. Because I mean, they have tons of remakes they could just do at this point,
Yeah.
and it just seems
Yeah.
like that's where the industry is going to, just remake surefire things and play off of
Mm-hmm.
people's nostalgia. We're hitting the
Mm-hmm.
age of Hollywood where they just remake shit. And if you want something new and original, look for indie games because they take chances with AAA, original IPs, but they don't always land well. So they recoil back, spend less money, and remake and play with your nostalgia. So we'll see.
I hey, hey guys, hey listeners. You good? If any of you have any hate to send to Sean about what he said about Final Fantasy VII, you could send it to me too. Because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is on my list, but I'll tell you, I'm not super excited for the game, especially after playing Baldur's Gate 3 and having that be like a turn-based RPG where it's just like, bro, you can do anything. And I already know that this story is going to be so convoluted convoluted. We all you played it, you got to the ending of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and you're saying that ending wasn't like, what the
What?
hell is happening right now?
Yeah.
It was so Kingdom Hearts. So I'm
I'd
I'm
be more
interested.
excited for a Kingdom Hearts game in 2024 than I am for Final Fantasy. Crazy enough. I
I'm
think
right
they
there.
try to
I'm right
take
there with you, Sean.
themselves too seriously. And even though the entire time in Kingdom Hearts 3, I was like, what the hell? I was still curious to see where it was going. Final Fantasy, I'm just playing this because it's Final Fantasy, and I know it has solid gameplay, but story
Yeah,
wise and innovation wise,
yeah, yeah. Like if I'm honest, I played and beat Final Fantasy VII because I really liked the gameplay. The story was it always had a back seat for me. Like,
mhm.
I mean, there was a couple parts that I found cool, but I didn't play Final Fantasy VII, so I had no real
Frame of
nostalgia
reference like
hooks.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, other than like I had an idea of what happens in Final Fantasy VII, and to be honest, what I found out after beating Final Fantasy VII Remake is that the things that I knew about that happened in Final Fantasy VII was mainly in that game. So going forward, I'm just like, I don't. They're gonna be in an open world with a ship, Sid. I guess we'll see. Um, so yeah, like I know going into Rebirth, there is going to be more characters in terms of Tifa, uh, uh, the vampire guy. I'm forgetting. I don't know. I'm forgetting his name. Anyways, the vampire guy that looks like Helsing, the red Kate, the dog, the red dog.
13.
There's gonna be more characters to play with, and for me, that works well. That works for me because I really like the actual gameplay of that.
And
So
Cat
it's just like,
She,
right?
Cat Sith, Kate Scythe,
There you go, Kate. Yeah,
Kitty,
Kate. Yes,
Kitty.
Red Kitty. So yeah, hey, look, guys, we're being honest with you. We're not the biggest Final Fantasy VII heads, so don't hate us completely because we just don't know who the Van Helsing guy, what his name is in Final Fantasy VII, or whatever. Van Helsing, Helsing. Jeez, I said Van Helsing. Helsing, the anime character Helsing. There's a character like it doesn't matter. Anyways, my my last game. Oh wait, no, it's your turn, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, it's your
ties
turn.
into
Yeah.
one of your games as well. My
Yes.
most anticipated game, thankfully, is coming out next month. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. As I was telling DJ before we got on camera, man, you don't have to play all the games, but if you do, it just ties all this shit together, man. It's just
Mm-hmm.
What's that? Is it Always Sunny in Philadelphia where the guy has like the board with all the
Oh,
strings
yeah,
connected
yeah,
on it?
yeah, yes.
That's what Like a Dragon is slash Yakuza. Just like, oh man, oh wow, oh what like the game is top tier, and
Absolutely.
they've just slowly, and it's interesting because I played all the games in order. Granted, 0, 1, and 2 were like remade, remastered completely. Well,
Hmm.
0 was original. Kiwami 1 and 2 were remastered, but still, just to see how they're building on each game, they're able to crank these out because they use the same locale, but they just change the different buildings you could go in and stuff. And there's just a lot to do in these games, and
Yeah,
their workflow is impressive. And hopefully they're saying this Infinite Wealth is going to be their Persona 5 moment where the world just gloms on to Like a Dragon slash Yakuza. And
yeah,
I'm excited to see how people receive this. I'm excited to see where the game goes with this because they're saying this is going to be the longest and biggest game they've ever made. And the games are already pretty freaking big if you're touching any of like the side quests and stuff. The games are already
yeah.
massive. So
That's crazy.
just wild. I'm
That's crazy.
less than 30 days the games comes out. Y'all will hear from me.
Right.
Y'all will hear.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like, Infinite Wealth is on my list too. As you can tell, we are markedly more excited for this than the last game we're talking about. But I and to be clear, Infinite Wealth is a direct sequel to Like a Dragon, which was a turn-based version of Yakuza.
Yeah, so
So
this will also be turn based, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like, for them to say that this is gonna be the Persona 5 moment, I absolutely believe that. I think Yakuza, like a Dragon, did such a good job, especially being on Game Pass, did such a good job of bringing in new people.
Yeah.
And I think, like, this being the follow-up sequel, Yakuza being such a just great game, just great story, just even like I think they do such a good job of their side quests,
Mm.
and just it's like it's hard to describe because it's it's Japanese satire, but it's also like a slice of life, and they bounce back and forth between the two, and it just meshes so perfect. So I cannot wait for Infinite Wealth. Like,
Yeah.
man, it's crazy that I think all the games that we've talked, except for Rise of the Ronin. No, I think Rise of the Ronin is March as well. I think all the games we've, except for Hades 2 on your list,
Yeah.
all the games we've talked about are coming out in the first 3 months of 2024. Like, that's crazy. Um, so yeah, yeah, like I'm right there with you with Infinite Wealth. And then my last game is Dragon's Dogma 2. Hey guys. Hey guys. It's DJ again. If you've listened to literally any of the podcasts that we've done, like literally any of the podcasts, I've screamed for exactly two games. The first game is Armor Core, and the second game is Dragon's Dogma. And I got Armor Core last year, and I got Dragon's Dogma coming this year. 2025, like, I'm not gonna say nothing because I'm that my bingo card is completely full. Like, yeah, uh, yeah. So I actually will be rooting for a Parasite Eve remake to happen for Sean.
It'll come one day.
It will.
And
It will.
we'll get DJ to CGI my head exploding
Right.
when they announce that shit, cause boy.
All you have to do is just believe, Sean. Just believe.
You know what? I'm gonna start writing the author.
Do it. Do
Come on,
it.
man. Give him the rights to do it. Give him the rights. Come on.
But yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2 is I I we were actually talking about this off cast, and Dragon's Dogma 2, I put that in the same um place that I put Armor Core 6, where if you remember, last year we did the fantasy league, and I forget who got Armor Core 6, but I intentionally didn't get Armor Core 6 because like I don't know how that's gonna do. Like I don't know if it's a sure grab, even though it's made by FromSoft and they've put out Elden Ring, and that was like a game of the year, X, Y, and Z. I
Mm.
just right now, Capcom is in their golden period. Right now, they have been dropping like bangers after banger, other than Exo Primal, which is not a bad game. Not a bad game. It's just not like the best game. So like they are doing a good job of putting out good games, and I think from what I've seen, Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to be a very strong game. I just don't know how it will resonate with the people who haven't played Dragon's Dogma. So I think there's like an expectation of like, oh, is this gonna play like Elden Ring? And it's like, no, it's not gonna play like Elden Ring. And I don't know if people are prepared for that. So we'll see. But yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2 looks amazing. It looks like exactly what I wanted them to do. So I am here for that. And I'll be getting that day one. And that's in March. So much stuff happening. So yeah, that are the games we are excited for. We got some time, so we can jump into some of the news. We'll make this quick. So yeah, before we jump into the news, hey, you subscribe to the channel. Do it. Do it now. Mhm. Like the video too. You need to subscribe and like and hit the notification bell. If you're listening and you're not physically watching us, then you can leave us a review on Spotify or the Apple Podcast you're currently listening on, or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the podcast services you're currently listening on. That's what it is. And again, if you want to join, you can join our Discord at pressx2start.com/Discord. So do those things. We would appreciate it. Thank you. All right, let's jump into the gaming news. Number, we'll call this 3.
Yeah.
Original God of War trilogy is rumored to be getting remastered. This comes from Eurogamer.net by way of Vicky Blake. So, according to Xbox Era's Nick Baker, who announced on the 4th annual Grubsmiths Shapetacular, whatever. It was a Christmas podcast with Jeff Grubb. So Nick Baker heard a remaster for the first 3 God of War games might be happening. Let me jump. So, okay, this is a quote from him. I told a friend of mine who also loves the OG God of War trilogy that this might be happening. Then they got very excited, and I've heard that we might be getting the original God of War trilogy remastered on PlayStation. Baker couldn't commit to a release timeline, nor was he clear on whether it would be a straight up port like we got on PS3. He also doesn't believe 2013's God of War Ascension is included in the remaster either. The other thing I'm not clear on is another thing I'm not clear on, and I want to get details on is a straight up. Oh, this is just a quote from what he just said. Yeah. So the original God of War will celebrate its 20th anniversary in 2025. God of War 2 and 3 released in 2007 and 2010, respectively.
If these are just little remasters or whatever, I doubt that I would play them. If they did complete remakes, switched up some things or whatever, new technology allows them to do what they envisioned back then but couldn't do at the time, then I may check it out. But I'm sure it'll sell because I mean a lot of people were either too young or just weren't into the series back then. But I don't know if I would touch this. It depends.
Yeah, I'm along the same lines as you. I appreciate the old God of War, but it was never my bag. It was never a thing that I really enjoyed playing. It was very much button mashy. I mean, that was the era of button mashing, literally.
Yeah, like if they include like new combos and type shit.
Yeah, but my issue is I don't know where the heart would be in terms of adding extra content to this stuff because it is, one, so old, and two, it's not even the style of gameplay they're doing anymore. So I I think they can do a remastered, but
Mhm.
again, I don't know. Like really and truly, with how Valhalla ended, it is weird to do a remastered of like the old God of War games. So
I don't
I
think so.
don't know. You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
Well, I guess you could say, okay, well,
It
that's
would give
just
people more context as to what the hell he was talking about in Valhalla.
you're right. You're right. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay. We'll see. We'll see how this
And
goes.
they could mix in the PSP games and Vita games
Mm,
that people did not play. They can mix in some of those scenes.
yeah. Yeah.
So
Cool. Okay. So number 4, this is what we were talking about earlier. Horizon MMORPG is now essentially confirmed to be in development. Job listing suggests. Also comes from Eurogamer by way of Vicky Blake. All right. So this is just a okay. So video game researcher Kura Kasis took to Twitter/X earlier today to detail everything they know to date about the upcoming game, including a rumor that it will be an MMORPG, to be precise. They also shared details on job listing that seems to confirm the game in development may be called Land of Salvation. Okay, this is another quote. The game is now essentially confirmed to be in development as an NCSoft employee posted a job listing on LinkedIn with a codename logo stylized similar to the logo of Horizon Games. It's developed under the codename Project Skyline, with the initial codename being Project H. So here's the kicker. This game is seemingly coming to PC and mobile. There's no mention of PS5 on either job listing currently available online and is being developed in Unreal 5. It is it is expected to launch significantly less
later,
than oh yeah, later than
Aeon.
what is that? Aeon 2? What is that?
Yeah,
Which is
I have
anticipated to
no idea
be
what it's called.
released. Yeah, it's anticipated to be released in 2024/2025. Although around 140 people were working on that game in September 2023. So there's more, but we can just stop there. So this is Jesus. So I just hit my mic. So this is interesting in that this is a MMO RPG. There was actually a leak a while ago about a multiplayer version of Horizon. I don't think this is that, although the graphics on that looked a lot toned down from what we expect from Horizon. So it is possible that that was this MMORPG thing, and it was very much so structured like Monster Hunter.
I was just
Um,
thinking that, like, what would you even
yeah,
do? But I mean, I guess we'll see what they. It hasn't been canceled like faction, so we'll see.
exactly right.
It's still
Yeah.
fun, I guess, in private tests.
Right. So my my issue with this is that my hope was that that multiplayer game was going to be like a 4-player co-op game and not an MMO, because I don't I don't understand why you need an MMO for Horizon. I mean, I guess it can work, but like I don't know. I just don't believe. I just don't believe. So yeah, as Sean say, we'll see what happens with this. I think this is
I'm
they're
racking my brain to figure out like what would be the conflict there. Are you who's the main baddie here? I guess unless it's just the other tribes or whatever that you're fighting back.
yeah, I think the interesting part is based off of Horizon, how it ended. And we know there's going to be a Horizon 3 because there is a conflict that needs to be resolved. They could do a thing where this MMO takes place during Horizon 3,
Hmm.
where the thing that's supposed to be coming is there, and it's like that is the quote unquote main baddie, and you're just having to like that's just the cycle that you're fighting these things, you're fighting these things, you're fighting these things. And eventually, it does like some kind of story. Maybe you get Aloy that pops up and just like, hey, we're all gonna take part in this giant battle against this thing or whatever. But yeah, it does feel forced. It does feel like, all right, guys, you really have to sell us on this one because this doesn't really make too much sense. Other than the fact that you want the gameplay to just be a consistent thing. So this is
Yeah.
where we're gonna make it. All right. The next thing, number 5, rumor. Sony could be building a new studio with former Deviation game developer. This comes from Game Rant by way of Dane Inero.
Sure.
So yeah. So this is quick. So Sony is rumored to be forming a new internal game studio comprised of former employees of Deviation Games, including Jason Blundell. The new studio project has not been announced yet, but many speculate that it could be a shooter given Blundell's experience with the Call of Duty series. So specifically, Blundell he worked for Treyarch, so he
Yeah.
did the Black Ops games and so on and so forth, and helped out with a lot of Call of Duty stuff. This move aligns with Sony's strategy to expand its media offering and enter the live service games market, as seen with previous acquisitions like Bungie and Firewalk Studios. So yes, but as we know, Sony is not so strong about that live service push. So we don't know exactly how this will turn out. So Deviation Games, they actually had their big game canceled a couple months back, I think.
Yeah.
So
What were they
I
working on?
think it was supposed to be a first person shooter. I think
Oh.
they were going to make some live service shooter game or whatever, but it got canceled. So in this story, some of the stuff that is also mentioned is that Jason Blundell and a couple other people were hired under Sony Entertainment Interactive, right? SIE,
Mm.
and that's the internal studio is there. So they are now completely first party working on a game, which is good. They'll get more support, and hopefully we'll be able to see something from that. I imagine it's probably going to be like maybe
They
2025.
founded this in 2020.
Deviation Games was in
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right during the pandemic. That's gotta suck.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
apparently, wait a minute. Okay, it's people from Deviation. I was about to say
Hmm.
Jason Blundell left Deviation Games. Okay.
Hmm.
They haven't even put anything out yet. This is
Yeah,
we'll see what
it's
this
it's
goes.
it's weird. It's I don't want to call it a panic move, but like I think it's
Man,
just Sony.
SOCOM is right there, Sony. Come on.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's possible that like if they're bringing it internally, like SOCOM uh, is an IP that hasn't been used in a very long time, and it could work.
It could play like a less extreme Rainbow Six.
Hmm. Hmm.
A
Yeah,
middle ground between Call of Duty and Rainbow Six, whatever.
yeah,
It's right there, Sony.
I agree. I think that that could be a good move for them. All right, number 6, another rumor: Bayonetta trilogy releasing on Switch 2. This comes from My Nintendo News, by way of what SS? Okay, I don't even know what that. Anyways, um, so there was a post on Twitter saying that you know, we could be getting Bayonetta 3 or Bayonetta trilogy on the Switch too, which is interesting because we have heard nothing of the Switch 2. So
Yeah.
Sean, let me ask you a question. Are you getting this trilogy?
I'll fucking buy it again. Maybe the fourth time I bought Bayonetta 1. Don't think I won't.
At this point, there's nothing stopping me. Oh man. So yeah, I mean, there's not much to go on other than that, other than this tweet. But again, next year, all of our game releases stop in March. We have no idea what's happening after March. It's a dead zone. That could be when Switch 2 drops, and then everything else just kind of opens the floodgates after that. We don't know. But this is interesting. I think because it's possible that this trilogy could be, I guess, remastered, but like I guess remastered would probably be easier to do than a remake because
Mm-hmm.
that'd take more time. Because the last Bayonetta game we got was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Year?
3 with Jennifer Hale leaving us.
Yeah. So it's possible that is enough time for them to do something of a remake, but I
Oh
feel
no,
like
it
a
came out.
remaster
It
actually
came out in
gives.
2022 October, so
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
last
That,
little over a year ago.
yeah, so that's yeah. So the best we could hope is for a remaster. So yeah, we could. I mean, it could just be like a oh yeah. So I'm gonna read from the article. You see, leaker N Weedle has mentioned on Twitter that the Nintendo Switch's successor will be getting a Bayonetta trilogy containing all three main titles. The trilogy will have visual and performance enhancements, including HDR. And Weedle also thinks that Nintendo will announce the Switch 2 before the end of March. That's interesting. So yeah, again, as we've been saying for the last couple of articles, we will see. We will see. And then we're close to wrapping up. Number 7, a new Banjo Kazooie game is coming. Insider claims. This comes from Insider Gaming. So, this is also really short. Um, According to a known leaker, Nate Drake on Reset Arrow's forums, a Banjo Kazooie game is in development at Microsoft. He didn't give much in terms of detail on the project aside from it not being officially greenlit until last year. Excuse me. It's still an active project, but it didn't get the green light until last year, he says. Um this is interesting. I think Xbox, specifically Microsoft, is in a pretty good place with um the Xbox Series X. They definitely need some more first parties to not have to rely so much on essentially buying games out for Game Pass.
Mm.
So I think having a Banjo Kazooie could really help them with their portfolio of games. Um, are you interested in Banjo Kazooie, Sean?
I played the first and never completed it. I didn't play anything
Yeah,
past that. I don't
yeah,
know if I'm sure the property, the IP is still strong, but it would have to have a reinvention like you know, God of War and I don't know what other game, just s- Legend of Zelda. Like I'm sure
yeah.
they could bring in people. The last thing was nuts and bolts, but I mean,
Mm,
I don't think the world was ready for that type of game at the time, and like the gaming audience is bigger now, so I think
yeah,
that would grab people more if they did it correctly. It depends, so we'll see.
yeah.
I don't know if I'd be interested in something like that. So, mm,
Right, right. Yeah.
collectathons are dead now.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's kind of it for me in terms of like that. You're totally right. They would need a reinvention in terms of what you're doing in that game because collectathons are just not something that the general body of gamers enjoy anymore.
Mm,
And I feel like the the first place they should look at, and probably the best place they should look at for inspiration, is Ratchet and Clank, because I feel
mm,
like that game, like that is a very similar game to like Banjo Kazooie in terms of like just the style of characters, like what you're doing. Like Ratchet and Clank was very much so a collect everything kind of game. Um, yeah, I mean, more props to them. I don't even think we know a developer for this. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It would be pretty cool for them to have like a mascot shooter. I don't know what you would call Banjo Kazooie, But yeah,
Mm-mm.
it'd be cool for them to have another one of those games because I feel like Microsoft is kind of running into a situation that has ran into of like the first party's kind of doing the same stuff in terms of third person, uh, like shooter kind of thing. So
Yeah.
this would be a good thing to differentiate the games we've seen. I guess except for Starfield. Starfield's a first person shooter where you just explore boring space. I'm sorry, guys, I didn't mean that. All right. The last story we'll talk about, and then we'll wrap this up. Number 8. Why a single tweet has fans talking about Gears 6. This comes from Xfire. Speaking of Xbox exclusives that we could possibly see happening this year. Where's the article? There is it. All right, cool. So a tweet from the coalition's Benjamin Heige hinting at Gear 6 for 2024 has sparked conversation among fans. So the tweet in particular just says, "See you in 2024," and it's like a little pound fist and hashtag Gears fam.
Yeah.
So this is interesting because generally when something like this happens and then the internet gets whipped up into a frenzy about what this means and they start speculating and then it's like, oh, gear 6 happening or whatever. Right now the tweet is still active, so either this person is stoking the fires for gear 6 or they are making a very, very, very bad move. Because if the next thing that we see that is Gears related is like a remastered or a remake or something, I think that's not going to be great for the coalition in terms of what the
I mean, a
audience
remake of
obviously.
the first one may bring new people in. Once again, like I say, here's granted, with Xbox Smart Delivery and their backwards compatibility, you could play the first one now. But I mean, I don't know how those yesteryear mechanics work in today's climate. Like that was super hyper
Hmm.
masculine back then with these fucking like yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll have their God of War 2018 moment with Gears of War and insert some who knows what into the game. So I mean, I don't know. I played once again. I played the first one, didn't finish it, but it
Yeah.
was interesting when I played it. Check it out again.
Yeah.
Not opposed.
So this rumor has a bit more weight to it because Jeff Grubb weighed in on it. So essentially, uh, following the massive layoffs at Microsoft, which happened earlier this year, that affected several of its gaming divisions, including the Coalition, insider Jeff Grubb revealed that the Coalition had canceled at least two of the project it was working on, which would explain the distance between the last Gears game and then them actually putting up something now to stoke the fires about Gear 6.
Mm.
Um, Having freed up resources and personnel, the coalition was rumored to now be all in on development of Gear 6. So that kind of, says, okay, well, this could definitely be the start of, some kind of tease for us seeing Gear 6, which I think will be cool because as we were talking about in the last story, Microsoft needs some more first party experiences that is not just bought through Game Pass or not bought with their wallet to put on Game Pass because Game Pass is good, Game Pass is strong, but it's not going to draw people in if you can just get a game that's already in their ecosystem on your ecosystem. It's just like you need first party experiences.
Maybe they don't.
So,
We'll see. We'll see how
eh,
their great Gatsby Game Pass experience goes.
and again, they have Activision. So they have King now, so that is a lot of money they're going to be funneling into themselves that they
That
don't
that
necessarily need to.
that doesn't mean they're going to be churning out anything necessarily creative. You don't buy Activision and King And Blizzard, you don't buy Activision for their creativity. Nothing is creative about
Oh yeah.
uh, Call of Duty at this point, nor is Candy Crush. But
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just talking about the money it's making. It's going to be funneling
yeah,
in them, so they don't necessarily have to worry too much about like getting the a crazy number of Game Pass subscribers or whatever.
hmm
But yeah, this is interesting. I mean, I think as it is right now, we don't know too much about what will happen in 2024. 2024, Jesus. But I think with these rumors, with what we know so far, like it is shaping to be a interesting year in gaming. I think it's really hard to say that 2024 is going to be a better year of gaming than 2023, but
yeah.
I think we are going to be in for a couple of surprises. Maybe maybe we might even see a tease of Parasite Eve.
Don't you do that shit?
Sean's like, I'm not falling for it.
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, that has been it for the cast today. That has been it for the Press X to Start Gamers Digest podcast for 2023. We will see you in 2024, where we will be talking more about games and more about the things we've been playing and just talking more, I guess. That's just how that podcast stuff works. We just keep talking until you start listening, and then we talk some more. Maybe play some games. Yeah, we'll play some games too. We'll definitely do that. All right. Um. So yeah. I got to end this thing now. We hope you enjoyed this last episode of the year as much as we enjoyed making the podcast for this year and the years before and the years in the future. Don't forget, you can like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell if you are watching on YouTube. Don't forget, if you are listening, please leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the podcast services you are currently tuned in on. We greatly appreciate that. Don't forget, if you want to join our conversations, you can by joining our Discord at pressx2start.com/Discord. We're pretty cool. You can be pretty cool too if you join our Discord. So do it. All right. You guys take care. Happy holidays. Happy New Year's. I don't know when you guys are gonna be listening to this, but yeah, happy New Year's. Um, yeah, keep playing games. Because playing games is fun. You got anything else? You got anything to say, Sean?
We get viewers, wives, people listen to us.
Exactly. We can do that for you. So just like the video, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
All
we,
right,
we
y'all.
gotta we gotta prove something to our wives. Like the video and subscribe.
Exactly. Show them that we're not wrong for providing you, dear listener, content about things that happened in this past week of gaming. Shoot, this past year of gaming. So do that. Show them that they're wrong and we're not wrong. Please. No, really, please. I'm begging you. All right, y'all. Bye.